Good morning, students. Uh, Today we are just going to discuss the questions which I had given in my previous class, that is revision test 1, history lesson number 3. First question was, what promises did Hitler make to the Germans when he came to power? So what promises did Hitler make? First promise he made was he promised to build a strong nation and undo the justice of Treaty of Versailles and then restore the dignity of German people. This was the first promise uh, Hitler has made. Second, he promised employment for those looking for work. Second promise Hitler made was for the unemployment people that they will be employed for the work. Those who want to work, they will be employed. Then the third promise was that to protect Germany from all foreign influence and secure its country future. That means no influence of any foreign country will be there in Germany if Hitler will come into power. Then second is second question, the Nazis established a racial state once they came to power. Explain. You have to explain that when once the Nazis come to the power, they will establish a racial state. Then this thing you have to be you have to explain this sentence. For this, you have to write down the answer about that once Nazis came to power. That means as soon as the Nazis will come to power, they wanted to create an exclusive racial community. That means they have to clearly differentiate between the racial community, between the pure and the undesirables or the desirables, pure and impure uh, community. That means uh, those who were seen as undesirables and the people of the other part of the community was of the pure Germans, and they wanted the society of pure and healthy Nordic Aryans only, and they were considered as desirables. It meant even those Germans who uh, it meant that even those Germans who were seen as impure or abnormal had no right to exist. That means those Germans who were impure and abnormal type of means for any uh, problem is there, they are lagging behind. That means they had no right to exist, no right to life in the Nazi society. Jews were all not the only community who were classified as undesirables, but under Nazis' power, many gypsies and black Jews were living in the Nazi Germany. Many gypsies means Jews, gypsies, and many black living in Nazi Germany were also considered as racial inferiors and threatened the purity of Aryan race. They were widely persecuted, means they were widely tortured. These undesirable people, Jews, gypsies, and people who were living and the black people who were living in Nazi Germany. They were very much tortured by the Nazi people. Even Russian and Polish were also considered as subhuman, not the category of human being. Many of them died through hard work and starvation. These undesirable people, they were not getting enough of food, and they used to work very hard for the desirable people, and that is why they used to many of the undesirable people died just because of hard work and starvation. So, this was the condition established by the Nazis as a racial state. That means clear distinction was there between desirable and undesirable people. Then, next question only in this I had given in the option, what do you know about general government? Now, for the general government, you have to write about that Nazi divided occupied Poland into two parts. Means the Poland which was occupied by the Nazi people, it was divided into two parts. Much of the northern western Poland was annexed to the Germany, and the other part was called general government. So all the undesirables were sent to this part where they were killed in gas chambers. Large number of Jews were killed. So this general government was the place where the undesirable people, that is the Jews, the gypsies, the black people, they were sent to uh, this part of the Poland, which was called as general government, and they were kept in the gas chambers over there. They were brutally tortured, and finally they were killed. They were kept there till they die over there. So this was the general government in Poland. Next question is, what are the peculiar features of Nazis thinking? So the peculiar features you have to write down, main features of Nazi thinking. First of all, the Nazi ideology was same as Hitler worldview. According to this, there was no equality between people, but only the racial hierarchy. And in this view, blood blue-eyed Nordic German Aryans were at the top, and they were at the top of the racial hierarchy, and the which were called as desirables, while Jews, who were called as undesirables, were placed at the lowest category. Then next you have to uh, write down about the L- Lebensraum, that is the living space. Hitler believed in the Lebensraum, that is the living space. New territories had to be conquered. That means to increase the living space, according to Hitler, new territories to be conquered by war or hook and crook. He want to increase the living space for the German people, pure Nordic Aryans. Then third feature of Nazi thinking was that Nazi wanted a society of pure, healthy Nordic Aryans. It meant that even those Germans who were seen impure or abnormal, means they were belonging to Germany only, the German people, but they were a type of abnormal people. They were impure. They were having uh, relationships with the undesirable people. They had no right to live in Nazi Germany. And under the euthanasia program, the Nazi condemned the death many Germans who were mentally and physically unfit. That means mentally and physically unfit people who were Germans only, but they were also uh, made to die in the Nazi Germany. And this was the main feature of Nazi thinking also. Jews remained the worst sufferers in the Nazi Germany, and they were called as undesirables. Hitler uh, means when Hitler came to power, he tried to eliminate the undesirables and the gypsies, and the Nazi proceeded to realize the murderers as a racial ideals. So this was the peculiar features that totally, first of all, according to Hitler, they want a pure Nordic German Aryan society in which no desirable undesirable people should not be there. Weak, undesirable, mental, unhealthy, abnormal people will not exist in Nazi society. And then, secondly, Hitler also believed uh, in the increase of the living space, that is Lebensraum, by conquering the new territories. And then next question is this: mention the communities termed as desirables and undesirables by the Nazis. Now you have to mention the communities which were termed as desirables and undesirables by the Nazis. So in this you have to write down that the desirable include blonde, blue-eyed Nordic German Aryans. He wanted a society of pure, healthy Nordic Aryans. This was the theory of Hitler, that they want pure, healthy Nordic Aryans only in the society. And the undesirable, they included the gypsies, blacks, Jews, and in among which Jews were the most tortured class by the Nazis. They were the worst sufferers, and even those Germans who were seen as impure or abnormal had no right to live. Under the Ethosia program, they were condemned to death, means they were given the death punishment also, and even Germans who were mentally and physically unfit were put to death. Then next is, how was democracy destroyed in Germany? Question number fourth, how was democracy destroyed in Germany? In this you have to write down the events of 1933 that led to the destruction of democracy in Germany, and they were that on 30th January 1933, President Hindenburg gave the chancellorship, that was the highest position in cabinet, and this position was given to Hitler. And Hitler now tried to dismantle the structure of democratic rule. As soon as he got the position, highest position of chancellorship, he wanted to dismantle, totally destroy the structure of democratic rule. Second event was that the mysterious fire which broke out in German parliament, which facilitated this movement again. And the fire decree of 27th February 1933 indefinitely suspended the civic rights. Now, these civic rights were the freedom of speech, press, assembly, and they were being granted by the Weimar Republic. Then, fourth, communists who were the enemies of the Hitler were sent to concentration camps for this. And on the 3rd March, enabling act was passed, which established the dictatorship of the Germany. Hitler could rule without any concern of the parliament, means he became an autocratic ruler. All the political parties and trade unions were banned except the Nazi party in his rule, and the state had full control over media, army, and judiciary also. This was the condition how the democracy was destroyed in Germany. Then next question, what was the foreign policy of Hitler? Now, about the foreign policy, Germany left the League of Nations in 1933. So, as soon as when Hitler came to power, many actions were taken by Hitler as a part of foreign policy, among which was the Germany, which was left, uh, means Germany left the League of Nations in 1933, and then Hitler again reoccupied the Rhineland in 1936. Then he also annexed Austria in 1938 under the slogan that one people, one empire, and one leader. He annexed also the Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia, and then the whole country. Then Hitler chose war also as the way to solve economic crisis. Then territories for the expansion of the empire, that Poland was invaded and it started the Second World War also. Tripartite Pact was also signed between Germany, Italy, and Japan. And the puppet governments means who used to work under the Nazi people. They were installed and the large part of Europe. Then next, what was the effects of the war? Now, what were the effects of the war? That is question number fifth. In this, you have to write down the major effects of the First World War on Germany. Now, for this, you have to write it down. The means three major effects of the First World War was there on the Germany. First, at the end of the First World War, Germany became a republic. That is, Weimar Republic was formed. And second major effect of the First World War was that Germany lost her overseas colonies, that is 13% of her territories, 75% of her iron, and 26% of her coal was given to France, Poland, Denmark, and Lithuania. And the third major effect of First World War was that Germany had to make reparation, means to give the payment that was amount to 6 billion to the, means he had to pay back for whatever loss was there for the First World War. Yet the Germany had to pay back the money in 6 billion, and it was 6 billion. The next question: how did the economic crisis begin in the USA? For this, you have to write down that in the USA it began with the crash of the Wall Street Exchange in 1929, and USA could not recover back those loans. And fearing a fall in price, people made frantic efforts, much efforts to sell their shares. Means as soon as this Wall Street Exchange appeared, they started selling their shares. On a single day, 13 million shares were sold, factories were shut down, banks became bankrupt, exports fell, farmers were badly hit, leading to unemployment. So this was the economic crisis which began in USA. Then next, last question: describe the problems faced by the Weimar Republic. Now the Weimar Republic, what were the problems which were faced by Weimar Republic? Uh, it is the very first question of your NCRT also. That is the problem faced by Weimar Republic. First, the Weimar constitution has inherent drawbacks, making Weimar Republic weak, that is fragile. And then Weimar Republic was not received well by the people because of the terms it was forced to accept the Versailles at the end of the First World War, and it was harsh and humiliating treaty. Which treaty was harsh and humiliating? That is Treaty of Versailles, which Germany had to accept with his allies. And many people held the Weimar Republic responsible for the defeat in the war and for accepting the terms of Treaty of Versailles. Then next is in 1923. Another problem was the Germany refused to pay reparation payments to the France. Then the France occupied its leading industrial area, that was the Ruhr, and uh, to claim their coal. Then Germany also offered with passive resistance and printed paper currency for that. With too much paper currency in circulation was there, and thus the value of German mark fell, and the situation is called the hyperinflation. And lastly, the problem which was faced by Weimar Republic was that about the economic crisis. The USA withdrew her support when Wall Street exchange crashed in 1929, and German economy was worst hit by economic crisis. Um, then workers lost their jobs, or those who were in the jobs, they were paid reduced wages. The number of unemployment also reached 6 million, and the economic crisis created a feeling of fear among the people. So these were the problems which were faced by Weimar Republic. I hope all the questions are clear now. Go through the lessons. If any doubt, you can ask me. Prepare nicely for the exams. Read each and every question carefully. Make PDF, upload it on the given link nicely, and do it in the clear handwriting. And be careful that you have to have one India political map, one in world political map. Means two maps at least you have to have in with you during the exam. That is periodic assessment 3. Any map can be asked to locate and label. You have to use that map which is with you, as you have done in periodic assessment also second. Clear? Okay, now that's all for today. Thank you.